What's up, YouTube? This is going to be your guide on how to use Wyrdeer in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I'll be providing some competitive movesets and some fun to meme movesets too. If there's a Pokemon you'd like to see me cover, let me know about in the comment section and let's get into it. Fun little fact here, I've done all the Legends Arceus Pokemon and the Hisuian ones, so I was wondering if you'd like me to do maybe the Palkia and the Alga Origin forms. I think that'd be pretty cool. Alright, so Wyrdeer, it's an interesting Pokemon to say the least. So we've got a normal and psychic type here, which isn't the greatest. We have got a nice health stat, a reasonable attack stat, and a nice special attack stat. So it's a kind of a funny sort of stats it got here. Nothing is really super amazing, but we've got like an attack and special attack stat, which is the same, and some good overall health and reasonable defense, special defense, and very, very average speed. Now, looking at Wyrdeer's abilities, we have got Intimidate, Frisk, and Sap Sipper. So no, not too bad abilities for sure. Now, Wyrdeer can be used as a physical attacker and a special attacker. So I'm going to be providing movesets for both. And I got some sort of like doubles and some fun sets and stuff like that too. Now, let's have a look at this first set. I feel this could work reasonably well as an Assault Vest Pokemon. So you could probably run this one two ways. You could either go Sap Sipper for an attack raise there if you get by a grass move and getting that grass immunity. Or you could give it Intimidate. So that way you'd get more bulk, more defensive bulk, and you'd have that special defense bulk from the Assault Vest. So you could either run that Intimidate or Sap Sip or whatever you like. So its new move here, its signature move is Psy Shield Bash. So this is a physical move, it's a psychic move, and it's got 90% accuracy, and it's got a 100% chance to raise your defense by one stage, which, it's quite a nice move there. It doesn't really pack a super duper powerful punch. It just makes this Pokemon like even more bulky. So, stacking with Intimidate could be a nice little niche there to make it overall like really quite tanky. Now, as for normal moves, Body Slam is probably as good as any. You've got a reasonable base power of 85, and you've got a 30% chance to paralyze the opponent. You could opt for some more like offensive things like maybe Double Edge, but you are obviously getting some recall damage, and you may miss out on a paralyze. Now, a way to hit the Steel type Pokemon would be Earthquake. I would say that, and Earthquake, or I was thinking you could go, instead of Earthquake, you could go Terra Blast. So Terra Blast, and then you've got Terra Blast Fighting, because I thought that could be good to get around any, let's say, dark Pokemon. That could be quite good, and then you could go Terra Blast Fighting to the the dark types and things like that. So I think that could be an option for its Terra too. Another Terra option you could run with this Pokemon as bait, you could have Terra Water. So Terra Water with Sap Sipper is actually kind of smart, because if you go Terra Water, then you get, obviously, you're that water type, so you're weak to grass. Say, for example, a Meowscarada comes in and uses Flower Trick on you, well, you're going to get a Sap Sipper boost. So something like that I could see definitely working for Wyrdeer. Or you could just have its normal Terras as well, which could be psychic, but of course you wouldn't have Terra Blast then. You'd just be relying on the Bash. So I'd go with Water and Sap Sipper as a little bit of a surprise. Now, it doesn't really have much ways of boosting its speed outside of Trailblaze or Agility. So with this set, we can't have any status moves, so we're going to be using Trailblaze. And Trailblaze isn't a bad move to boost up your speed. And, if you're a speedy Pokemon and you got some good bulk on the defensive and special defensive side in this case, it's going to go okay. It's not really a very, very hard-hitting Pokemon, though. It's got above average bulk, and it hits, for a reasonable amount of damage there. And it's type, it could be salvaged as, look, it could be salvaged a reasonable defensive wall, but the thing about it is, if it was just pure Psychic, you could use it probably to swap into fighting type moves. That could be an option, but with that normal, then fighting is neutral and stuff like that. So I don't know. It can be used in a bulky way, but as a physical sweeper, it's not bad, but it's nothing super amazing. It's just average, and that's pretty much about it. Let me show you my next couple of sets here. So the next one you can work, I feel like this one probably has the most potential whether or not you want to do it this way, you can. Now, it is a psychic type, and it does get stored power. So, stored power is always quite good on bulky Pokemon, and, Wyrdeer is quite a bulky Pokemon. So we've got Carmine to boost up its special attack and special defense. So Carmine is basically stored power, and they work so well together. Such a great combination. Now, I've given this one Rest, and we've also got Intimidate and Chesterberry, so you can instantly wake up one from Rest. And, more Calm Minds. And then we've got Terra Blast Fighting. So that way you're not walled by any Dark types. And you can also add Steel as well. But it gets to a point when you've got so many Calm Minds up, even Steel-type Pokemon are going to get dropped. The EV spread for this one is going to be Max Health and Max Defense Bold Nature. And after a many Calm Minds, and you got some very, very nice bulk, and maybe a lot of the physical Pokemon are out of the picture, it's going to be very, very hard to faint. It's just getting those initial Calm Minds up at the beginning is where you need, like, Rest and Chesterberry. You could opt to run for something like this too. You could go Sleep Talk and then drop the, you could just completely drop Terra Blast and just have, like, Terra Blast Psychic, but you would need to have something that gets rid of Dark-type Pokemon on your team for sure. Then you could give it something like, Leftovers. That could work as well. Another one, you could give it even like a gimmicky item like Staffberry. Like some way of boosting your stats. Like that randomly gives 2 stats. Or you could, like, Leftovers is probably as good as any if you really wanted to. Or you could also give it, for example, we got, I would say Moringa Berry or Key Berry, but those aren't in the game yet. So if they're not in the game, yeah, Leftovers or even Rocky Helmet just for some extra damage, like if you were going to go for that. But Leftovers, I would say, is probably as good as any there if you want to use on that set. But yeah, Terra Fighting is good there if you want to be able to hit Dark types. If you don't care about Dark types, you've got another Pokemon on your team, you just want to go full stored power spam, that would probably be the way to go there. If it has like another, maybe if it had Moringa Berry, that would be quite good at the start of the battle, or Key Berry, if those ever come into the game. Yeah, so that's how I would probably run a stored power set, or something very, very much like that. I can see that actually working, because it does have enough bulk to do that, but it can be broken through like earlier on, so you really have to get those Calm Minds up in the right situation, and when certain counters are taken out the way. Like any setup Pokemon, really, like any bulky setup Pokemon. Now, the next one you could run is, this is a bit of a meme set, of course, is a Trick Room set. Now, I thought under Trick Room, I had to look at the special set and I had to look at a physical set. I was like, well, let's just for the purposes of this move set, so I've given it Trick Room. You could probably put another filler move on there. So I've given this one Max Health and Max Attack Brave Nature, 0 IVs in speed, and Room Service. With the Room Service attached, when the Trick Room goes up, it's going to drop your speed by 1 stage. So not many things are going to really outspeed you. They have to be very, very slow Pokemon, because you're hitting like a very low amount of speed. So under the Trick Room, Zen Headbutt's going to be probably better than its signature move, Side Shield Bash, because it's 10 base power higher. And it also has a chance to flinch as well. You go have a little bit of a shaker, actually, but I feel it outweighs the, definitely the benefits of getting a flinch and more base power sort of outweighs that. Next move I would suggest would be Body Slam, because once again, you can get that paralysis, and, flinch and para could be kind of nasty. We've got Earthquake on there, of course, yeah, any steel types, and just virtually just coverage, right? And then I've got Trick Room on there. So Sap Sipper as the ability, or you could run Intimidate. Frisk is interesting, but I feel like Intimidate and Sap Sipper are always going to I don't know, maybe in doubles or something. If you really, really want to know what your opponent's item is, you can, but I don't know. I wouldn't be putting Intimidate or Sap Sipper on the back burner for Frisk, if it was my opinion. A lot of the time you can figure out what an opponent's item is just the way they play, the moves they make, or it may, give itself up in the battle. You can see it like visually, like a berry or a life orb or things like that. So I would go for Intimidate or Sap Sipper. So that's a bulky Trick Room physical attacker. There's, like I said, this Pokemon is kind of limited. It really, really is limited. It doesn't really get the, greatest. It doesn't, like, on the special set, so it doesn't really get any good, like, special. It doesn't, like, get, like, Boom Burst or anything like that. That'd be cool. Or Hyper Voice. That would have been nice on a special set. So it doesn't really get those kind of things, which is, kind of makes it difficult. Now, as for VGC, I've came up with more of a support style set, a defensive wall, but you could use, for argument's sake, you could use this set here too. I'd probably drop Sap Sipper and give it Intimidate. Yeah, I mean, it's not to say you couldn't give it Sap Sipper, but Intimidate is quite handy. And yeah, you could use something like this, like a similar sort of set, if you wanted a more offensive one that's speedier, right? So you could go ahead and use that, or you could try this support set out. So I've got Protect and I've got Helping Hand, which are pretty good for this because it can, obviously it's not going to be dishing out heaps of damage, so you want to sort of use this as support. And you've got Body Slam and you've got Earthquake there. So Earthquake getting some, obviously extra damage there on both the adjacent Pokemon there, and then you got Body Slam just to spread a little bit of status. Intimidate to drop any attacks there. Leftovers for recovery works really nice to protect, and also scouting moves and stuff like that. And if you and your partner are using any like spread sort of moves there, it's going to help at the same time. So you could go like max attack if you wanted to, but I like the idea of a defensive wall set. That way you can live a couple of hits, support your attacking ally, and go from there. If you got any more sets or idea, let me know. But I feel like something like this along these sort of lines, or this is probably what you're going to be using in doubles. Not much else outside is going to work there, because I was looking at stuff like actually, while I'm on the topic, I was looking at stuff like, let's say, I'm just going to go over this set here. Let's say we wanted to do like a special one for doubles, right? Now, the problem I see with this is, let's go like modest and see what we can do. So we'll get rid of Stored Power, get rid of Calm Mind. So let's have a look at a special move. So the problem I see with this, it doesn't have like, it has Swift. Swift is literally the only special move that it gets that's normal. And you got Hyper Beam and Terra Blast. So that's terrible, right? If it adds, as I mentioned, if it adds something like Boom Burst or Hyper Voice, you could actually have like quite a decent set, not only in doubles but in singles as well. And you could go like Throat Spray and other cool items like that. But there's just nothing for it, It's just not going to be all that good. So that's why I opted to go for a physical set, because none of this is really going to help you out like super duper like heaps. Okay, so that was my support style set. Now, I do see this being somewhat viable as a screener. There are Pokemon, obviously, that can easily outclass this, but this is going to be like quite bulky after a Reflect and Light screen. So it actually gets both those moves, which is pretty cool. So it gets both of them. You've got Intimidate on top of that, which it's going to give it like very, very good bulk with its health and stuff like that. And got Light Clay there to extend those Reflects and Light screens to 8 turns instead of 5. And then I've got a Side Shield, Bash, and Body Slam for coverage. So that could potentially work too. Like you could start off as a lead there, set some screens up, spread a little bit of paralysis, things like that. So I consider that being okay. They're definitely not amazing, but not terrible. So that's another way you could possibly run Wyrdeer. Hey, it's a difficult Pokemon to run, It doesn't have like a load of options. Now, this next set is a troll set. We like to do meme sets around here. We like to look at every single possibility that you could do, and check this one out. This is kind of mean. So we got a Adam and Nature. We got Max Speed and Max Tag, which is fairly normal for a sweeping set. However, this time we've got Agility. So Agility is going to raise my speed times 2. So that's going to put me at like well over like pretty much well over any Pokemon, except that they're like some stupidly fast Choice Scarf Pokemon, right? I don't know, like Choice Scarf, Choice Scarf Psychosaur or Regieleki or something really, or Fluttermane or something like that, right? Yeah, so we got the Agility up. That way we're going to go first. We've got enough bulk to be able to live most attacks, motion neutral attacks. So once again, we're going to be relying on flinches here. So we've got Zen Headbutt to flinch, Stomp to flinch, and we've also got Bite as well. So all the flinching moves you could ever want in your life. And to top it off there, we've got Bright Powder for a little bit extra salt, I guess you could say. And I've given this one Frisk, but look, you can give it Saps if you wanted to. I tried to make a little bit of a fun sets with Frisk so I could see what the opponent's item was. So that's why I called it a meme trolling set. But yeah, something fun to have a look at there. As for teammates, stuff like, counters to this, an easy counter to this Pokemon is Meowscarada, right? Especially if it's carrying like, you probably think, oh, well, it's got Sap Sipper. Like, you're right, it has Sap Sipper, but Like, one knockoff on this is going to absolutely, like, destroy this Pokemon so easily. And, like, what can it do? Like, a Psychic move? No, I can't do that. I can't risk it because it's Dark-type, right? And then it has to rely on a normal move. And Meowscarlet is going to probably do, like, insane amounts of damage with, like, a protein knockoff. So, Meowscarlet really, really destroys this. So, as well as, like, lots of other Pokemon. Now, that is for sure. So, that's an easy counter. Not that it was a very hard Pokemon to counter anyway. Just thinking of some other positive or good things I could suggest with this set. It's just difficult. But as for Terra, I really like that Water Terra and let me bring it back there. The Water Terra and Sap Zipper. I think that has potential for a bit of surprise. I do like that. That's definitely something you could try out. The thing about this is right. Tearing a Pokemon that only has 65 base speed and 105 in base attack is risky because you're probably going to find there's a Pokemon on your team that's just going to be better. So, yeah, that's how it is. I like all Pokemon. I like to look at every single kind of Pokemon, but with those stats, it's unfortunate. You know what I mean? It is quite unfortunate. But it does have some pretty cool things. Let's have a look at some other moves that it has, because I like to go over absolutely everything here. So let me bring up all of its status moves. See if we can produce any more movesets or thoughts. So I've gone over GLT, I've gone over Calm Mind. Disable's interesting, but I don't think it's really fast enough to get the Disable going. Either with Disable, it's probably better if you're like a faster Pokemon or you've got an ability like, I don't know, Prankster or something like that. So you can go first, right? It's better to be able to go first. We've gone over Screen Set, like Light Screen Reflect. I actually think that has a reasonable amount of, you could reasonably do that for sure. It wouldn't be too bad. Protect Reflect. Yeah, I went over Arrest Flea Talker. We went over Stored Power already. It does have some potential there because, as you can see, it's very, very bulky. We got Sub. That could be useful, I guess, if you're trying to go Sub and Calm Mind. Or Sub down to a Berry. That would be about it. It's got Thunder Wave, which was quite decent, and Trick. So you might be able to have like a utility set. So Trick is actually not a bad move here. So Trick. How about we run? I want to try Choice Specs there. Hear me out here. So we did have a look at. And I want to say this too, you could probably run like a Choice Band set on this too. That would sort of lock you in. That's the only reason why I ran a Sophists, but Choice Band could work there for sure. I probably wouldn't run Trailblaze on there. I would run something different, like a higher base power move for sure with greater coverage. I only ran Trailblaze on there for speed and Assault Vest. So anyway, back to that. So we've got, you know what? Frisk and Trick work well together. Because with Frisk, you can see what their item is. So then you can think, this would be really, really good. Let's say you got a Pokemon that relies on their item. Let's say you've got, I don't know, like a Volcarona with like heavy-duty boots, right? Oh, we're going to trick that at Choice Specs. And suddenly it loses its immunity to Stealth Rocks. And it goes for Equidance. And it's locked into Choice Specs. And it's got to swap out that it takes Stealth Rock damage. Perfect suggestion there, right? Something along those lines. I say that could be, reasonably good. Look, you could run this as max health and max special attack too. You don't have to go max speed. I don't see why you absolutely would have to do that. You could run this under Trick Room of Quiet as well. That could be an option. So there are little options and things that you could absolutely use there if you really, really wanted to. So anyway, back to what I was saying. So we have Trick. See what special moves we got. Now, Extra Sentry would be good for Trick Room because you'd be going first. And you'd be having it's only a 10% chance. It's more gimmick, I guess. You've got Earth Power. Earth Power is actually quite good for Steel types, so that could be your options for Steel types. You've got Psychic or Psyshock. Psyshock isn't bad because I don't mind Psyshock on special sets because it gives you a way to be a mixed attacker, I guess you could say. So we put Psyshock on there. And what other move? Terra Blast. I'd probably say like Terra Blast or. Yeah, because, normal Terra Blast is so bad. Oh, it's so bad. Maybe you could try and, trick the opponent and think you've got another Terra Blast and just use normal Terra Blast. I don't know. This is just the thing about it. It's quite difficult It doesn't have anything good. I mean, or you could really roll the Hyper Beam if you wanted to, but man, you have to be like, ooh, you have to be really sure when you're going to do that because you get set up on. But that's maybe another option you could go for, a little bit of fun on a Wyrdeer's kind of set. I like that meme troll set. That's quite good. But yeah, let's back to what I was looking at. Some other moves, but just some thoughts here on Trick. I just actually didn't, Trick and Frisk are actually quite a good combo. What else we got here? We got like Confuse Ray and Thunder Wave, so that's all right. You might be able to make a Parafusion set to annoy someone. Endure, Hypnose. Hypnose is okay. Imprison, that's interesting. So it does have Imprison, but I don't know. Like Imprison's not so good with like moves like maybe like Imprison, Calm Mind, and some other common moves, but yeah, Imprison and Psychical Bash aren't going to do very well. Yeah, to get some other gimmicks, to get some cool things like role play and skill swap and stuff like that, so they seem interesting. Maybe you could like do a double sort of strategy with like Sap Sipper. Yeah, like say you've got, let's do like a double strat here. So we got, let's leave that there. So Sap Sipper and skill swap. How about we got Quagsire? Yeah, Quagsire. So we got a Quagsire here. I got your boy Quagsire. So in doubles, you can go like skill swap and Sap Sipper and skill swap it straight to Quagsire with a 4x weakness of grass. There are like cool little shenanigans you could probably do with that, but they're gimmicky, right? But it does have the option to do that, which is pretty cool. So skill swap and Sap Sipper is a option there if you want to use that for Wyrdeer. Very, very cool. Let's have a look at some more status moves. Yeah, that's kind of about it for its status moves. Quick look at its physical if we've missed anything. It does get Mega Horn, but that doesn't really give you very much, in my opinion. Yeah, it doesn't give you a lot. It gets Wild Charge. Once again, these are just, it doesn't give you a lot of coverage. Like, you don't really need some of these moves. So you got Earthquake, you've gone over that already. Nothing super amazing on the physical side outside of Body Slam. You could do like a double-edged Choice Band set. Or you could do Facade. You might be able to do like a Facade set with like Flame Orb, but then you sort of have to watch what other moves you put on there, or maybe use like, I don't know, Toxic Orb or something. So there is that option. Yep, not too much there. Bulldoze might be useful for like utility if you want to drop speed. I haven't even looked over on the special side. We sort of looked at this already, but it's very, very barren. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. This Pokemon is... It's got a couple of cool niches, but I don't see it being used very much due to its odd sort of stats. Nothing really super shines out about it. I think it's a cool Pokemon. I think it's got some cool niches that you might be able to use it for, like gimmicky things or niche things. But outside that, I think it's going to be outclassed by a lot of different Pokemon for sure. But I really like this sort of Pokemon. Yeah, they make you think, make you do different movesets. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoy Wyrdeer. If you got any more to add to this, feel free. I always like to hear people's thoughts and feelings and stuff like that. I do have one more moveset guide going up tonight. And yeah, double upload night. So make sure you're looking out for that one. And that's about it. Peace out, people.